Today we're going to be reacting to the Future of Call of Dragons video, and I'm going to be weighing in with my thoughts. And this is a video that launched about a week ago. I really wanted to react to it at the time, but I was on vacation. Finally, I'm back home. I'm caught up. I'm hyped to talk about the future of the game because I actually think there's some really cool stuff in here. And in case you missed this video, this is actually really important to understand. So let's get after it, shall we?
Happy anniversary, Lords. Today we're in Chengdu, China, and we're taking you on an exclusive tour of the Let Gold headquarters.
Let's go.
The dev team behind our beloved game, Call of Dragons. So in this video, we actually want to share with you some of the upcoming changes in the game and address recent feedbacks from the community. Let's go.
Here we go, baby. Pretty sweet looking headquarters, not gonna lie. Although personally, I didn't love when I used to work so close to other people. Like, I like having a little more space, but whatever. That style of office I'm familiar with.
很高兴再次与各位见面，我是万龙觉醒的制作人小福。不知不觉中，我们已经共同度过了一整年的时光，由衷感谢各位领主对万龙觉醒的喜爱与支持。我们一直在关注大家的意见和建议，因此在这个重要的1周年时刻，我们想和大家分享一些游戏未来的变化。 并将回应一些近期大家关注的问题。
It's very cool that the developers are going in and giving us this look, by the way, into the future of the game. Like, they're going to give us the next year, and I think that's pretty cool. That said, I mean, based on what's happening in the game, they probably could mix things up. So let's see what we have in store.
那接下来，我们先请系统策划天罡为我们介绍第一部分有关宠物系统的调整。
War pet system, let's go.
嗨，亲爱的领主们，大家好，我是万龙觉醒的系统策划天罡。自宠物系统上线以来，收到了不少来自于大家的反馈，例如宠物的养成随机性过强。
There definitely is too much randomness in the pet system. And by the way, I just made a video where I think a bunch of these changes to the pet system actually are gonna hit the game. And I would say overall, by the way, the pet system's in a great spot. I covered this in yesterday's video, so I won't go too in depth on it, but these changes are gonna be really nice. Let's see what he says.
宠物系统复杂等等。首先感谢大家的反馈，为了优化培养体验和简化系统，我们计划做出以下的调整。首先是宠物养成的优化，在新版本中，领主可以通过消耗同名同星级的技能给技能升星，宠物的天赋技能。
Boom. Okay, so you can use skills of the same name and star rating to improve a skill. That is freaking huge, and it applies to talent skills. Look, I covered this in yesterday's video, so I won't go too in depth, but the feedback that I sort of had was like, you know, a pet is a thing you're supposed to like love and cherish and keep forever, not something you like use, abuse, and then throw away after you're done with it, which is like kind of how the game works today. and that's not like a criticism per se, it's just like an observation that like, yeah, it's your pet until you have a better one, right? Like, you're it until you're trash. And when you're trash, I'm literally just going to throw you away. And so instead, I think this moves pets in the direction of like being a thing you collect and love and cherish forever, which like I'm exaggerating, but also I think it makes sense. Also, look at the prices over here. Maybe this is just a test server. Those prices are not familiar to me. All right. Very curious. Let's just keep going for now.
同样适用于这个新规则。然后放生宠物时，将必定得到宠物已经装备技能的其中一个技能卡。
So this is huge. When you release a pet, you get one of the skills that it has, which could include the talent skill. So pro tip, start collecting pets right now that have a 1-star talent skill or better for the pet that you like, because you are gonna wanna upgrade the talent skill to 2 stars. Now, how many 1-star skill cards is it gonna take to get to 2 stars? I don't know, but I'm hyped for this. Let's keep going.
天赋技能的技能卡哦。此外，我们对宠物系统进行了精简。 宠物不再需要练级和传承了，并优化。
This is huge. Pets no longer need to like inherit skills. I wonder what they're gonna do. I guess are they getting rid of like the system where you can transfer all of the skills from one pet to another? Question mark? I don't know. Let's just keep going here. I don't think they're doing that.
技能卡的推荐将会更加的清晰明了。我们希望这些调整能够让培养宠物的路径更加的可控，更加的清晰，让领主们能够更轻松的。
He said something here that's really important. They want to give you greater control when you're deciding what to do with your war pets, and I think this is huge, right? Like, the randomness that was in the system and has been in the pet system is not good. It was never really good. It needed to be removed, and they've been doing that. Kudos to the developers for acknowledging, like, we did something, it didn't make sense, now we're changing it according to the reality we observe. I think that is actually really phenomenal. And it's a lot of situations in a lot of games where they don't do that. And I don't need to get into that here. I'll just say, like, I really like the pet system a lot compared to the equivalent in other games. I've hammered that point a lot. But also, y'all don't know how good you have it with pets, I swear.
成心仪的宠物。
Tournament of
大家好，我
Champions.
是万龙觉醒的战斗策划佳
Hey,
明。
yo.
我们收到了不少玩家的建议，希望可以增加一些日常的战斗玩法，来体验更多战斗与策略的乐趣。
PvP, I'm in.
我们十分重视这些建议，也正在紧锣密鼓的为此筹划新的玩法内容。这里先给大家带来一些相关的前瞻信息。勇士争霸赛是一个领主们可以在任何时间、任何地点参与的1v1对抗玩法。 在勇士争霸赛中，领主们可以在战场上排兵布阵。
Okay, so Tournament of Champions is basically Canyon from Rise of Kingdoms. I have a love-hate relationship with Canyon. Here's the problem with Canyon, is I start to feel like the way this works is you basically line up your troops and then they fight in an automatic way and you have no control over what happens after you've positioned your troops. And this is a game mode that I strongly dislike. It's the reason I actually quit playing. Gosh, you can even find these videos on my channel. It's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I basically got to a point with this style of game mode where I expected to win. So when I won, it was expected. And when I lost, it was infuriating. And that's kind of the way I feel about Canyon. It sort of reached a point where, like, it's for me that I don't like planning to the nth degree and then pushing go and then just seeing what happens. I suppose that means I shouldn't be an auto chess player, which I'm not, but like I much prefer a real-time dynamic go than like think your way through the thought puzzle of thoughts and then boom, you line it up and then you press go and your system does the thing and you just sit like, nah, bro. I like to actively engage and do the thing. So this game mode's not for me, but some people really like it. Let's keep going here and see what they have to say.
其他领主的进攻，同时还可以随时调整自己的阵容与战术来进攻其他的领主。值得一提的是，不同的兵种会有自己独特的作战风格，这将极大丰富玩法。
I do like that different unit types in this game will behave in different ways. This definitely makes more sense in Call of Dragons than it does in Rise of Kingdoms. Like in Rise of Kingdoms, it's like run at the enemy and see what happens. And like here, it's also run at the enemy and see what happens. But like ranged units do ranged things and infantry units do infantry things. And you know, like each unit behaving in a specific way actually seems cool. And it does look like it's a 4x4 grid, which adds a lot more complexity to what can be done. So it could be that this is more satisfying. I don't know, but I suspect I will eventually get to the place where I expect to win. And if I don't win, it's like, bruh, which means basically playing this game mode only has downside for me and no upside. That's my fear. Okay. But that's a me problem, perhaps. I don't know.
的策略性，也希望大家能在这个玩法中灵活运用战术与策略，获得自己想要的胜利。
Hi everyone, I'm Duffy, the system game designer for Call of Dragons. First of all, thank you for all the feedbacks on the changes to the new home server system. And we sincerely appreciate everyone's input. We understand the cross-server migration feature is highly anticipated too.
Dude, let me tell you, Home Kingdoms / cross-server migration is key to this game. Community is 99.9% of the game. Everything else is details. And the way season resets worked originally, like destroy your alliance, forget your communities, shred all your progress on commanders, heroes, like that dramatically hindered this game. Like that was I can't imagine a bigger debuff to the success of this game than the season-based system, quite frankly. And that's easy to say in hindsight. Like, I should have been able to call that shot better because I played Lord of the Rings Rise to War, which had a season-based system, and it was the same thing. There's more drama, there's more bullshit, there's more frustration than any other system in any game I've ever played than season-based systems. It just is what it is. And that's not to say that you can't have seasons, like Rise of Kingdoms has KVK stories, which are seasons, but the core of it is a kingdom, a community that stays together and is a unit and is a physical space and is a people, okay? Asgard is a people, not a place, damn it. But also the place is kind of important. So like what I'm trying to say is that this is actually the single most important thing the game will do over the next however long it takes to make this. Let's see what he says.
Let me introduce the current design progress to you. First, we will introduce the home server system
Big poggers?
around May of 2024.
Okay.
The continent of
Nay.
Tamaris will become your home server. The alliances, territories, and behemoth you have at Tamaris will no longer reset.
Big
After
poggers.
the first season, everyone can choose to go back and forth between the Tamaris.
That's how
and
it
the
needs to
new
be.
continent in that
That's how it
season,
needs to be.
which means you don't have to start fresh every time when you go back to the home server.
So the question I have there is yes, and hopefully we don't keep resetting heroes, because I'm gonna be real with you. The first time I was like, all right. The second time I was like, okay. The third time I was like, yeah, I guess. Fourth time I'm like, again? And like, it doesn't get, I'm losing interest over time and leveling my heroes over and over and over and over and over and over. I am. I get it. I understand it. But I'm just telling you personally, I don't know. You let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am losing interest in continuing to level my heroes. I will always continue to do it for as long as the game requires me to do it. But like, I don't think it's adding value for me. Now, cross-server migration. I'll let him say what he's going to say, but like the ability to play with the people you want to play with is the key to the game. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not go with any other game decisions until this. Like, I cannot overstate the absolute definitive and critical nature of I can play this game with the community I want to play with. That is the whole game. That's 99.9 of what matters here, and the rest is just the details. And I know it's a lot of details, but like, A, that's the thing. And maybe it's just, maybe in product management terms, we call this table stakes. It's like the thing you have to be relevant. But whatever, let's go.
Second, we plan to launch the cross-server migration feature in the third quarter of 2024. We are in
Hey, yo, I'm glad it's on its way, but Q3 is an eternity, bro. That's a long ass time to be like, you play with who you play with. And for this reason, like, people really slammed the group I play with for having an easier season after like 3 of the hardest seasons the game's ever seen. And you have to recover. Like, you have to rebuild. And the only way you can rebuild is by connecting with the people in your season, which means basically every new season is a new home kingdom. People don't understand this, and I've been trying to explain it, and they still don't understand it. Every new season is a new home kingdom, and you have to think about it differently. You have to create the W. You have to. You have to create dubs and then get people into your group. And if you don't do that, you run the risk of losing people to the other groups, and then you die. And you die before Q3 of 2024, and your group is gone. So the key now is, can your group make it to global migration, the cross-server migration? If you can make it to the cross-server migration, you will be one of the premier groups in the game, or could be, right? But like, if you don't make it, GG, son, you're a part of something else at that point. It's not your group. Hopefully you like the leadership of the other group, you know? So what I'm trying to say is like, survival is the key between now and Q3. Because once Q3 happens, like, there's a lot of possibility to bring in people that resonate with you and share your values and share your play style and share your interest and share your passion, and as a group of people you want to spend time with. So yeah, it is a very limited pool until that time. It's even just generally a limited pool with global migration, but it's super limited. Every new season is your new home kingdom, until we get to this point. I know they're adding home kingdoms, but it doesn't matter, because the only way you can migrate until crossover migration is with other people from your season. So like, that's your new home kingdom, even if technically each group has their own home kingdom, doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter until cross-server migration.
implementing this feature so that you and your friends can play together in the same server.
Yep.
We will synchronize the details about a month before the changes to ensure everyone is informed.
Very good. Appreciate you, broski.
Providing a smooth transition for everybody.
Big poggers. Need that. Dragons. Future plans.
嗨，大家好。
Dragon label
我
dragon.
是万龙觉醒的美术。
Let's go.
我们万龙觉醒的新势力正在筹备中，未来将会和
New
大家见面。
faction.
我们即将加入的新种族也在概念设计
New
中。
races,
古老的东
poggers.
方神话给了我们这次创作的灵感。我们选取了一些标志性的形象和符号，想要还原出一个非常美妙的东方幻境。这些被神选中的守护者，履行着与神缔结的漫长誓言。他们呢，或顺其自然，或自信仁者无敌。而当我们与他们相遇时，或许就会见证誓言的终点，命运的结局。那同时呢， 我们也在游戏中紧锣密鼓的筹备 S3 相关的一些内容。
Dude, you gotta love that the Call of Dragons team actually goes deep on lore. Like, they're not effing around with the lore. So, new faction, possibly it's dragons or dragonites or dragonkin or something. Sounds kind of cool. Maybe a spring warden. Got a little frisky with a dragon or something, and here we go. I don't know what it's going to be, but new faction sounds cool. Wonder what the flying unit's going to be. Wonder what... Yeah, no, the flying unit's really the key. Like, I don't know how you really make flying infantry work. Like, originally, when the game came out, I was like, I want every unit to have a flyer. But, like, I guess you could have more of, like, a bruiser type, DPS type flying infantry, which actually would be cool as hell now that I say that out loud. I've always kind of wanted that, where you can move in on DPS, and, like, it doesn't physically stop the enemy from going somewhere. I feel like cavalry is supposed to be that, but it's not tanky enough, and it just gets freaking exploded. So, like, the second you think about doing a cav charge, it's like, you lose, noob. You suck. So you basically can't use cavalry right now, even though they can charge through infantry. It just doesn't matter. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm solving the wrong problem here with infantry. But whatever. New faction. It's kind of hype. Also, all right, prepping content for S3. Let's see what he says.
会有与新势力相契合的全新风格地图场景呈现给大家，还有作战关卡、庞大且丰富的角色群像、各式各样的冒险伙伴。等待挑战的精英巨兽等，绝大多数的内容呢，我们已经接近概念探索的尾声。
Final stages,
由于
okay.
3世界的庞大和它的多样性，等待咱们玩家体验的内容会非常丰富。我们正在加紧推进开发制作的进度，希望到时你们能够喜欢。
Big
We've
poggers.
collected a few suggestions from the community, and today our producer, Xiaofu, is here to answer them.
我们理解玩家的诉求。后续会开发原大陆系统，赛季匹配将会根据玩家所在服务器实力去分配初始归属地区，不同归属地区的玩家不可随意更换。
So I like this. Basically, the question is like, hey, you're going to have a predetermined starting zone. And here's the problem with seasons today is that, like, anyone could go to any zone and form any team. So, like, how are you ever going to have a balanced season? You will literally never have balanced fights in Call of Dragons. The fights will never be as good as they could be as when you can actually have starting zone balance. So, in my opinion, this is very, very key to the competitiveness and future of the game, is that, like, you have a home kingdom, you're tied to that group can be measured in terms of its activity, punch, and power, and then you make starting zones have equivalent punch and power and activity. And that makes for good seasons. Then you can be like, it's a 2v2 or a 3v3 or whatever. And like each starting zone has equivalent punch and have a great freaking competitive season, my opinion. Okay. The way that it works today, like you can just landslide seasons if you want to. You can. And in some ways, if you want your group to continue to exist, you almost need to. So, GG. Are there any plans for row season tournaments? Ooh.
上次海拉夫尔之战的调研，是我们收到反馈有史以来最多的一次。感谢大家对海拉夫尔之战的热爱。我们会在调研的基础上进行针对性的优化，并且打算邀请更多联盟参与其中，也会开放玩家以个人组队的形式参与。海拉夫尔。
That's interesting. Allow individuals to play Roots of War? I just kind of assumed it's like an intensely team-based thing. So I wonder if that means you can be like a free agent and join some other team consistently, or if it's like queue with random Roots of War team, which is going to be a disaster. But let's see what he says.
战联赛目前也在准备当中，在优化稳定后就会开放。
Roots of War Championship! Let's freaking go! So, hey, look, if you aren't taking Roots of War seriously, you better start now. In Rise of Kingdoms, the prize was a city theme. That city theme gives you troop training speed. Hey, yo, would expect to see the same thing in Call of Dragons. Don't fix a system that ain't broken, right? So, like, I bet you that's what they'll do. Can village buffs be changed from individual to alliance-wide buffs? Amen! Hallelujah! Praise be! Let me tell you something. Villages are frustrating at times. They don't need to be, but they are. Why? Because there's a limited number of people that can take them. So why doesn't everybody want the village? Of course everybody wants the village. So you have to fight over who gets the village. That sucks. That's a sucky community experience. You're fighting over the thing that like should be an upside for the team. And like, Then you got to capture it. So you got to sit there, and because everybody wants the elixir production, you got like 50 people waiting to click fast enough to be the first one to click. Like, there's things about this that probably will be small changes that will be big fixes, like, in my opinion. Let's see what they say.
我们理解大家诉求的源头，已经在 1.0.22 版本增加了村庄占领。
Good. Occupation limit increased. That's
同时也
good.
会在接下来的原大陆系统中加入军团功能，玩家可以通过组建军团的方式来共享关卡、共享魔兽争议。也
Sweet.
可以在
War
军团
bands.
领土
Okay.
上自由迁移城市，进行联盟间的支援。更换联盟的需求将会大幅减少。
Oh, I wonder if they're going to
大家
reduce
失
the
去村庄
time
争议的可能
to
性
teleport
也会
between
降低了
switching alliances. And removing the loss of villages would be cool.
我们在意所有玩家的游戏体验，时刻关注玩家间的平衡，并会通过制作更多活跃活动来丰富大家游戏的体验，通过更多样化的英雄和宝物来平衡玩家间的实力。
So that question was basically like, what about the F2P, bro? And like the answer for F2P is to be active and play events. He's like, yeah, we're going to give you more events. Oh, speaking of which, more events are needed, it says.
我们在紧锣密鼓地进行新活动开发，在周年庆中，我们已经推出了一系列的新玩法活动。由于命令点系统与 ROK 的体力系统有所区别，一些 ROK 的活动我们不能直接移植，但我们会尽量将一些好的设计移植到 COD 的世界中。我们一直重视大家的反馈，未来希望能与大家有更密切的交流，因此，我们即将推出英雄共创计划。
Hero co-create event. That's cool.
英雄的制作，通过投票和建议来共同打造大家喜欢的英雄。我们十分感谢大家1年来的陪伴。
I was
也会在
there.
未来继续努力，为大家带来更好的游戏内容。
Hey, yo, that's the Cologne meetup in Germany. I went to that. Card in the end screen, by the way, for the video where I was in Cologne, Germany, and talked about this meetup. And it would be interesting to compare what they said then with what they have now, because obviously a lot of time has passed. It's been like 4 or 5 months, right? Let's keep going here, see where we end up.
为了回馈大家的支持，我们准备了一
Oh,
份
there I
福利
am.
输入屏幕下方的礼包码即可领取。还要感谢大家提供的万龙觉醒生日蛋糕创意，听说实体蛋糕正在制作中，期待在下一个视频中与大家见面。
As we wrap up our tour, we want to thank you for being part of our amazing community.
No,
Your support
thank
means
you,
the world
Leo.
to us. Happy anniversary, and here's to many more adventures in Call of Dragons.
Hey, yo, let's go. Hey, look, here's where I'm at with Call of Dragons, all right? I think Call of Dragons is better than Rise of Kingdoms. Just gonna say it. People don't like me to say it because it's a Rise of Kingdoms channel as well. But I think it actually has way more potential. And as soon as they fix the community aspects of the game, then the game could blow up. It could. Now, it's uncommon for a game to launch, dip, and then surge. That's very uncommon. So I don't know what the developers would have to do to be like, hey, check us out again. We fixed the community problem. But like, once they've got kingdoms and home kingdoms in this way, like, and crossover migration, I think that the game is just straight better than Rise of Kingdoms. At that point, it will have solved community. The gameplay is better. The collection aspects will be better. Like it will just be better in many, many, many regards. And just the pet system versus the armament system alone is like a universe of difference and an insurmountable canyon of difference. Not to mention the graphics are already sick in COD, but table stakes is getting community right, and I think that's what they're working on, which is pretty hype. If you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. Again, check that card in the end screen for 2 things. One, I'll talk about the recent pet update. If you didn't see my comments about that, check that card. Alternatively, check out when I went to Cologne, Germany, did a little summary of that meetup. And again, check to see how things shaped up from then to now. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.